most fun things in the NAIFC year is watching a kid catch their first fish of a lifetime.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wisconsin Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host, Jason, and you just heard a little clip from an interview I did with Jack Baker, and he is the president and tournament director of the North American Ice Fishing Circuit. One of the things that I want to do with the podcast is talk to people that are out there encouraging others to get outdoors. And Jack and his organization is one of those people. He likes to encourage people to get out there and learn about ice fishing, and they do a kids seminar, and they encourage high school teams to come out and join them on the circuit and just learn more about ice fishing. I learned a lot from Jack about what they do, and I really look forward to sharing this interview with you. I think what he's doing is what Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer is all about. You know, he's getting out there teaching people something new. I really like what he's doing with his kids' workshops, and I think you're going to like what he has to say about that as well. So here's my interview with Jack Baker of the North American Ice Fishing Circuit. All right, everybody. Today I am with Jack Baker of the North American Ice Fishing Circuit. Hi, Jack. How are you today?
Doing great, Jason.
Good. So tell me a little bit about the North American Ice Fishing Circuit. What's it all about?
Well, the NAIFC started, this will be our 12th season, so we started 12 years ago, and we cover North America. We've been out to Vermont and out to Montana and up to Winnipeg. So pretty much if there's ice and we got somebody that wants to run a tournament, we'll probably come out. We do what we call qualifying tournaments in January, February, and into March. And then the ice goes away. And when the ice comes back, we hold what we call the national championship with the invitees from the guys that qualified in January and February. So we kind of go year round. Everybody loves it, but obviously we lose our ice. So even though it's a new season, we deal in a calendar year instead of a seasonal year.
I got you. So yeah, it's kind of you kind of hold your big event at the end of the year.
Well, you know, they hold the Daytona 500 at the beginning of NASCAR because it's the big event and gets everybody fired up. Well, we do the same thing with the national championship. We hand out gold diamond rings just like any true national championship, about $7,000 worth of rings to the team. So they're pretty happy, pretty fired up. And it's the beginning of the new year. You know, all the new products are on the shelf and everybody's geared up to go ice fishing. So that's one of the reasons we do it. The other reason is if, say, you qualified in January, you might just go pre-fish the championship lake for 3 weeks and get a jump on everybody. So by having it in December, everybody's got the same amount of time.
How many groups of guys do you get usually every year?
Well, for the championship, we invite 60 teams. So it's, you know, we would tell you it's the best of the best. I realize that there are a lot of good ice fishermen out there that aren't necessarily tournament guys, but of the guys that show up and compete and like to test their skill against others, or they want to learn different tactics from around the ice belt, we consider them the best of the best, and they are good fishermen. So you learn a lot. I kind of tell everybody that the NAIFC is 2/3 education and 1/3 competition, because we do a Friday night seminar and we do a Saturday kids thing, and all of that's education, and then we compete on Sunday.
Well, that kind of rolls me into this next question. Now, you've got a tournament coming up here the first weekend in March on Lake Menominee. That's over by Menominee. So what can you tell me about that event?
Well, if you look at our schedule, it shows it as a 3-day event. The competition is on Sunday, but we start on Friday night with two things. One is a meet and greet. We kind of have a social hour, and just everybody's invited. It's not just tournament guys, the general public, anybody out of the fishing clubs or out of the bait shops are welcome to show up. And we talk ice fishing, how it works, where it goes. We have a few ties to the United States team, so they talk a little of the European tactics. We show palm rods, long rods, different strike indicators. We talk ice fishing. And again, everybody's invited. And while we're doing that, we just started this year to have a high school division. So anybody 12 years age, older, through a senior in high school, gets to compete in our high school division, and we do that Saturday morning. So Friday night, we got the meet and greet going on, and at the same time, we have high school registration and rules meeting, and then the high school kids sit in on the meet and greet and get exposed to some advanced tournament tactics and some other things. So that's Friday night. Saturday morning, we start off with the high school tournament.
And with the high school tournament now, is that individuals or can they do teams, or how does that work?
We're looking for two-person teams, but we understand in the high school world it's hard. A lot of places have fishing clubs. A lot of places are just starting to get a fishing club going in school. So if there was a single person that wanted to go out, we would work them in. They're at a disadvantage going up against a two-person team, in my opinion, but that doesn't, we've never stopped anybody. We want to get the kids off the couch and out on the ice.
Yeah, definitely. And for the high school kids, they pay anything to register, or is that all free to them?
Well, what they have going is the tournaments, so the qualifier that they come to, and if they choose to come to the national championship for high school fishing, the tournaments are free.
Okay.
We do have a membership that they join for $25, Student Ice Fishing, SIF. So when you're looking at it, you'll see the NAIFC-SIF, that's Student Ice Fishing.
And then how long is their little tournament go? It goes just Saturday morning?
They go 8 until noon.
Okay.
And then we do the weigh-in, and we'll take the top 10 teams, get automatic into the championship, but depending on how many teams qualify across the nation, we can invite other teams. So, if they win or not win, we'll still probably get them into the championship this next year just so they can get exposed. At the championship, we do all kinds of seminars with pros from across the country. And they're there just to help teach the kids, show them the ropes in fishing and in tournament fishing.
Their championship, that goes at the December time too, or do they try to get something in here before the end of the year?
Well, the national championship for the NAIFC, we do the week before Christmas.
Okay.
The high school championship, we do the weekend after Christmas when all the kids are out of school. So we're not jumping in on anybody's test schedules or finals. It's during winter break. Christmas is over. The families already come and visit. Half the trees are already put away and they're moving on. Yeah. So we're closer to New Year's than we are.
Okay, so now the high school tournament is over. Then what do you guys do Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon, we switch hats a little bit, and we run what we call is the Kids Ice Camp. And that's aimed at beginners or younger kids, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade kind of age bracket. But, we have 6-year-olds in there, and we have 66-year-olds. There's a little kid in all of us. So,
right.
We don't turn anybody away. Every kid that comes gets a free rod. And what we do there is we talk indoors for, about 45 minutes. We talk ice safety, we talk bait, we talk equipment, we talk electronics, we talk jigging motions, just covering the basics. And then at 2 o'clock, we go out onto the ice and Team USA is out there. Ice Team sends their pro staff out there. Lucky John Northland has their guys out there, and NAIFC pro staff is out there. So the pro staff guys show the kids and the parents how to do what they just heard of inside. So, we show it to you indoors where it's warm, easier to understand. You don't have to out yell the wind or anything. And then we go outside and we show it to you, and you get to do it and show us that you can do it. So you get a chance to use the underwater cameras and the sonars and all the electronics, and you get to, you got your own rod. We give it to you, and we'll teach you how to jig it and talk to the fish, and with what we'll be pulling them in right there.
And you guys drill all the holes for everybody, so they don't have to worry about really anything, do they?
Correct. Our guys are down there, and we'll drill 50, 100, 150 holes, whatever amount of kids come. We'll get them taken care of, you bet.
The parents come along. Do they need a license, or how does that work?
The kids do not need a fishing license. Anybody 16 or under doesn't need a fishing license in most states. So the kids are good, and the parents are there to learn and to watch. Most of the dads that come have a license. So it's, you would need a license if you were to fish. But
okay.
We've never had any problem with DNR coming out with families. So.
And is it strictly catch and release, or if they catch one that's a record keeper, can they get to keep it, or how does that work?
The most fun things in the NAIFC year is watching a kid catch their first fish of lifetime. So it doesn't matter what it is. When they pull it out, it could be a 4-inch perch, or it could be a 14-inch perch. It could be a 14-inch crappie or a 10-inch bluegill or anything in between. The smile on their face, their eyes light up. If they want to take it home, they can take it home. It's pretty hard. When they're out there with Dad, they turn and say, "We have to show this to Mom." So there are fish that go home. That's no problem.
Good. Now, is there a limit to how many kids you guys can handle, or is it however many want to come can come, and you'll figure out a way to get them fishing?
You bring them, and we'll get a rod in their hand and get them fishing. The most we've ever had is 384 kids at one seminar.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was over at Chippewa Falls.
And what do you think? What do you think this program does for the future of ice fishing?
Obviously, it exposes a lot more people to it. It gets the kids moving. And like I say, once they catch that first fish and feel that rod bend, though they and the fish are hooked. I mean, it's a good deal. It definitely expands the industry. The NAIFC has a mission statement. If you hit our website, naifc.com, you can see our mission statement. But basically, it comes down to providing the highest level of competition, which we do. It's promoting the industry, which we do. And it's education. So, the kids camp falls under promoting the industry, but it really falls under educating and getting people involved.
So I got to ask, have you had any kids that you had come to the camp eventually compete in the tournament?
Absolutely. And when I started competitive ice fishing prior to the existence of the NAIFC, my fishing partner was my 6-year-old daughter. And she qualified us to go to the 2006 national championship.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, everybody goes, "Yeah, Dad, you did it." She just was on the coattails. And we're in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, chasing walleyes on 2.5 feet ice. And yes, I admit I drove the Suburban. Yes, I admit I drilled 11 holes. When I set the auger down and turned around, she had all the walleyes we needed to make the national championship. We're laying on the ice.
That's great.
So when I say she qualified us, I mean she qualified us. But it just goes to show that, kids can do it. I mean, she was 9 at the time. She's the youngest person to have ever made the national championship. and very proud of her. Obviously, I'm a dad just like everybody else out there listening, and I'm proud of my kids. But she's a great fisherman, and we just love to do it. And now for years, she was going through high school. She was the best kids camp instructor we had, because the kids, they relate real well to their peer. They see a 14, 15, 16-year-old fishing like she fishes, and it's like, hey, I can do that too. And it's much better than having a grumpy old guy like me talking to them.
Well, and that's really got to make you feel good too when you see these young kids come through the camp and get into the tournament and probably tell you stories about, their ice fishing adventures too.
Absolutely. We've got a team out of Prescott, Wisconsin, Ian and Caleb Waters, that they came to one of the high school events where we just invited some high school. It was before we had the system we have now. And then they started coming to actual qualifiers and taking on, what everybody would call the big boys.
Yeah.
And they've finished as high as 8th in a straight out qualifier. So high school kids or anybody can fish. That's one of the beauties of ice fishing, is you don't need the $60,000 boat and the motor, and you can walk out on the ice with a hand auger and you can compete.
Yeah. So now, how long is the kids' lessons? How long does that go on Saturday?
Indoors we're 1 to 2. Outdoors we're 2 to say 3:30.
Okay. And then after that we get into what you just said. The big boys come out and fish on Sunday, right?
Saturday night we do the rules meeting. We don't have a lot, but we make sure that everybody that's in Wisconsin is following the same rules as the guys in Montana or the guys out in Michigan. We keep it in as level of a playing field as humanly possible. And that's Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, we get to the launch site, and we get everybody lined up, and we release them at about 7:30. They go out onto the lake, and they can drill some holes, and they can drop their electronics, but they cannot put a line in the water. And we have observers out on the ice to keep track of everybody. So they can camera away, drop their sonar, use their aqua views, check it out. And then at 8 o'clock, they start to fish. From 8 until 1, they are fishing, and hopefully fishing hard. And at 1 o'clock, they're back across the timeline. They turn their fish in, and we take them out of their bucket. We put them into our bucket. We look at the fish as we're doing it. We count the fish, and then we bring them in. We weigh them, and it's total weight. And we generally have a big fish prize. We pay cash. Tournament is cash-based. We pay 1 out of 5 teams, so 20% of the field is going to make a paycheck. And then we also have product prizes. We've got some great sponsors, and we provide some fantastic product prizes. It's stuff people need. And the big thing the guys want is what in the NAIFC world is affectionately known as the wood. And that is our trophy.
Okay.
And it is a wood plaque, and you get it for first, second, or third, and it is sought after. It is, without getting too woo, it is the holy grail of ice fishing. Having a piece of wood from the NAIFC means a lot to these guys. Chad Schwab out of Michigan has a bronze medal from the World Championships that he would swap in a heartbeat for a championship wood plaque. So it sounds corny, but it's one of the things in the NAIFC. Once you start fishing it becomes a group of friends. I mean, you make some great acquaintances. There's a lot of camaraderie out there between the fishermen. When it comes time to fish, they're hard-nosed fishermen, just like any other competition. But when it's not, It's everybody talks to each other. It's a good gig.
Well, so how can they get more information about getting in the tournament or getting with the ice camp?
Hit the NAIFC.com website, and we have a tournament thing, and you page, click on tournaments, and you can click on any one of the qualifiers. Obviously, we're talking about the one that's in the nominee, and the schedule of events is listed on that page, and if you want to join, you click registration and follow it through. It's pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory, easy to do.
It was a lot of great information, and we just want to encourage people to get out there and try ice fishing, and this is a great opportunity for you to bring your kids out there and just have a good time, and there's going to be a lot of people there helping you, so you're not on your own. And I think that's what the key is really to this, is for somebody who's new to ice fishing, here's your opportunity to, work with some pros.
Absolutely. I mean, there's very few times that you get to see or interact with the United States ice fishing team that have gone up against the Russians and the Poles and Norway, and I mean, it's just the stuff we learn when we're over there and we can bring back. Guys in Michigan fish totally different than guys in Wisconsin or North Dakota. Everybody has their own regional tricks. When you get south of Madison and you get into Illinois and Indiana, a lot of guys are longliners, which takes a totally different ice fishing rod. The guys up in Michigan are tight liners. They're a line watcher on how to use the line as a strike indicator. The guys up in Wisconsin and Minnesota really rely on like the St. Croix spring bobber. And you get to share all of this and you learn from it. And you can be a 20, 30-year veteran. I learn something every weekend. I mean, it's just, there's no way in the world you could know everything. And the tournament guys want to hear what you have to say as much as you want to hear what they have to say, because they know there's wisdom all over the lake. It's not just coming out of them.
Well, that's great. And Jack, again, thank you for joining us on this week's podcast. And again, for more information, I'll put a link to your website in my show notes so that people can get a hold of you easier too. So again, hey, thanks for your time today, and good luck with the tournament.
Thanks, Jace. I appreciate it. It's fun to do.
I want to thank Jack again for taking some time and talking to me about the North American ice fishing circuit. I'm going to post a link to his website here in the show notes. So if you've got any questions, or if you want to sign up for the tournament, you can do that. Or if you want more information about the ice camp, ice fishing for kids portion of the tournament, you can check that out on his website. So this is what I want this podcast to be about, more than just me sharing my experiences, but bringing in people who have knowledge of other things that I might not be familiar with and that you might not be familiar with as well. And I want those people to share their information with you so that we can all be better, we can all grow, and we can all be more excited to be one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I hope you get out there and check out the event he's got happening in Menominee here this weekend. Thanks for joining me on this week's episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host, Jason, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.